Lix here, and I'm now in Hamburg, Germany, on a fact-finding mission. Before I get to my findings, let me give you a little introduction to this wonderful city on the Elbe River. It is known as Tor zur Welt or Gateway to the World. It is well known for its nautical history, numerous bridges and canals, and a diverse range of entertainment options, from low-cost markets to high-end operas. Similarly, the red light district is responsible for the majority of the city's famed nighttime scene. A fascinating approach to explore is to take a cruise along Hamburg's lovely harbor, as I did. I'm here to find out if the Hamburger is the most famous hamburger, or something or someone else. Join me on a discovery journey. One of Hamburg's most famous citizens was Karl Lagerfeld. He was a fashion magnate known for his work as a creative director of Chanel and Fendel. He was also a talented photographer and caricaturist. Lagerfeld was distinguished by his signature sunglasses, white hair, fingerless gloves and detachable collar. Johannes Brahms, a Romantic era composer, conductor and pianist, is one of the most well-known Hamburgers. He became well-known for his perfectionism and a combination of classic and modern elements. Felix Mendelssohn was another well-known composer of the early Romantic period, well remembered for his collection of lyrical piano pieces. The most well-known scientist in Hamburg was Heinrich Hertz, a physicist who discovered electromagnetic waves. His work created the groundwork for wireless communication and radio technology. Composers Brahms, Mendelssohn, and physicist Hertz were exceptional personalities who left an indelible imprint on their respective areas and are still widely regarded today. Did the Fabulous Four, whose music drew worldwide attention, become the most famous Hamburg inhabitants ever? One of the most fascinating things about Hamburg is how much the Beatles adored it. Beginning in 1960, the four-member Liverpool boy band travelled to Hamburg to perform at the Indra Club. They had no idea that the mutual admiration between fans and the band would lead to an extension of their tour to 48 consecutive nights. Furthermore, their success in Hamburg boosted their career significantly. There are numerous tributes to the Beatles in Hamburg. A noteworthy example is their memorial at Reeperbahn, which consists of 4 metal statues. It is situated on the square, Beatlesplatz, or Beatles Square, which is charmingly shaped like a vinyl record in their remembrance. Though millions of Beatles fans connected their brilliant career with Hamburg, they did not rank among the most renowned Hamburg inhabitants. It was in Hamburg, West Germany, that Angela Merkel was born. She moved with her family when she was a toddler to the East German Democratic Republic, which was socialist at the time. There she grew up and joined the Free German Youth, which was the official communist youth movement. She became a politician of the conservative CDU after Germany was reunited and rose to the top of German politics. Her term as Chancellor that began in 2005 ended in 2021. People thought she was the real leader of the European Union and called her the most powerful woman in the world. In the usual way that friends and partners do, the United States tapped her phone. Not only does the once most powerful woman come from Hamburg. The current federal chancellor Olaf Scholz grew also up in Hamburg. Scholz, the current head of Germany's government, has been embroiled in a huge tax fraud scandal known as the Cum-Ex affair. This scandal dates back over 5 years to the time when Scholz was still the mayor of Hamburg. The Cum-Ex affair involved fraudulent tax practices in which a large number of banks, companies and individuals applied to the authorities for tax refunds for alleged costs that were never incurred. The German state was defrauded of over 30 billion euro through these fraudulent practices under Mayor Scholz. Anytime Chancellor Scholz was asked about his part in this huge incident, he said he couldn't remember the specifics. He knows that the American NSA, the largest spying and surveillance organization in the world, has all the details. Because of this, he did what he was supposed to do and helped cut Germany off from the cheap Russian energy that had powered the German economic miracle for decades. Instead, he let the US energy, which was much worse for the environment and much more expensive, take its place, making American industry great again. His name will be remembered in history as the famous Hamburger, who was largely to blame for Germany's loss of industry and fall in living standards. So Scholz may be Hamburg's most notorious citizen, but he is not the most famous. Did you know that the name of the dish Hamburger actually goes back to the city of Hamburg? Asks this tourist information in Hamburg. It explains that in the 19th century, almost all emigrant ships set sail for the USA from Hamburg. On board was the Rundstück warm, a real Hamburg snack consisting of 2 halves of bread and a slice of roast pork with some gravy in between. In the 1870s, the Hanseatic dish popular with immigrants became the Hamburger beefsteak, with pressed minced meat instead of roast pork. After further name changes to hamburger steak and hamburger sandwich, the term hamburger or burger has been used since the turn of the century. Aside from the culinary enjoyment, this fast food made its way from Hamburg to the United States and around the world, causing millions of people to become obese and sick. The Hamburg Museum's skull of 14th century pirate Klaus Störtebeker, famous for getting up after his execution and walking headless many paces, was stolen in January 2010. Most likely a fierce, cruel and skilled pirate, Störtebeker has been portrayed as a German Robin Hood over the centuries. There is a monument in his honor in the port of Hamburg, as you can see here. He joined the Victual Brothers, quasi-official privateers defending Mecklenburg, now northern Germany, from Danish ships, where he started his career. As these things happen, he and his associates turned to piracy. They seized what they wanted, when they wanted, from whomever they wanted, under the battle cry of God's friends and the whole world's enemies. They plagued the affluent Hanseatic League, this mercantile elite that controlled Baltic trade. He and his troops were arrested in 1401 and tried in Hamburg. Störtebeker reportedly made a last-minute arrangement to save as many of his captured troops as his decapitated body could pass by before being executed. It turned out to be 11, but the Senate broke its promise and executed all 70 pirates, displaying their severed heads as a horrible warning. From 1922, the Hamburg Museum has displayed the skull, which was found during building in 1878. Once it disappeared in 2010, the local goth scene and Hells Angels were suspected. Although the complete narrative is unknown, the skull has been retrieved and returned to its home with better protection. With his remarkable career and the fascination with him, even his skull, he is possibly the most famous Hamburger of all time. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, click the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do. I'll see you in my next videos. Goodbye for now from Hamburg.